Hey guys, Ken Scott, Senior U.S. Immigration Law Intelligence Analyst with www.usentry-waiverservices.com, and we get you guys cleared to enter the USA. Today is going to be a different episode in sense of we got two people are going to join us, and one person was very famous. Apparently, she got turned around at the border flying in from Australia. I think I have the correct person. And she was coming to the US to apparently do some cat sitting and like I guess cat and house sitting, something like that. And they turned her around and blah blah blah. And they asked her one interesting question in relation to that. And I believe they asked her if she had an abortion, which that totally is inappropriate. And anyway, so now I'm just waiting for that person to, well, these two people to accept the invite, and then I can help you. Hello. Oh, okay. Anyway, just waiting for these two people to accept the invite. And okay, I told them the invites have been sent. Okay. You guys got to remember, in the meantime, while waiting for these people, the two guests to accept the invites, um, this work is not the easiest at times. This stuff can be really, really tricky. So it really just depends on your packet as to whether you get approved for a waiver and your circumstances. Um, One of the things I can touch upon while waiting for the guests to check in, I'll say we are uh, live on Zoom. I should say, did you get the invites? I guess they did. What's this? Well, I guess they got the invites. If not, I'm going to start this video over again. So, but anyway, so there's a lot of these competitors in this business that basically what they're doing is they're telling you guys anything that you guys need to hear to get paid. So, but I'm wondering, you know what? I'm just wondering if I should possibly. No, I can't do it that way either. Unless I do this. Nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. You know what? Let me try this. I don't know how well this is going to work. Let me just try this. Okay, there we go. Okay, so how are you two doing?
Good.
Good, good. And then that's oh, Bev, how are you, Bev?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, you're loud
Yeah.
and clear.
Perfect. Great.
Good, good.
Nice to
So,
meet you and Madeline.
oh yes,
Yeah,
yes, Madeline, how are you? I think Madeline was in the news, right? I believe.
yes, yeah. It made the news probably for the wrong reasons. But it still got publicity. So I guess that's all that matters. So other people kind of know it's not acceptable on a work visa, or sorry, tourist visa.
Yeah, so why don't we start out with Bev knows me, I'm Ken Scott, and I used to work for the American government. I was a federal officer there.
Mhm.
So we get people cleared now based on the regulations. So um why don't we start out maybe hearing what happened with both of you, especially yours, because I believe in the news the officer was asking you if you had an abortion.
Yes, and that's why it made so many headlines. And I guess in essence, trusted house sitters dodged a bullet because that was the focus of the story rather
Yes.
than house sitting with the wrong visa. So yeah, it was an interesting one.
So maybe you could walk us through like what happened from the time the plane landed to the time you left.
Yeah, of course. So this would have been like my sixth or seventh trip to the United States.
Okay.
But at this particular point, I was actually on my way to Canada but the Air Canada flights hadn't resumed from Australia because it was still like COVID had just kind of started to die down. So I couldn't get a direct flight to Canada. So I had to go via the US. And a lot of people don't realize you have to clear immigration in the United States, even if you're going to another country. You can't just get your next flight without having to pass through immigration.
Correct.
Yeah. So the officer scanned my passport in the general processing line. And he saw that I had been in the United States about 3 months earlier, which was
Correct.
true. I'd been house sitting in the US on that trip for just under 3 months. I went home, worked for another 3 months or 2 or 3 months. And then I was coming back to the United States, literally just to get a flight to Canada. Yeah.
Right. So sorry to hear that. So he probably did what's called a sworn statement, record of proceedings, a sworn statement. And he or she would have asked you to, they would have asked you the questions. You would have said yes, no, or elaborate, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
When the interview was over, they would have signed it, and you probably got what's called expedited removal and 5-year ban.
So I didn't actually get any paperwork at the airport. I had to chase it up, and it took like 6 months to even get any kind of documentation. And I was told to file it's kind of like a review of your case. I can't remember what it's called, but it goes back to CPB.
Oh, trip redress, maybe. It could have been trip
Yes,
redress.
the redress inquiry. Yep. So I was told to file one of those. And I was told I'm not actually banned from the United States. I just can't ever enter with ESTA. So if I want to go back, like I need a green card, I need a work visa. The embassy here in Australia said I could apply for something called like a B1 or B2
B1,
visa.
B2, yeah, B1, B2 visitor visa, yeah.
But that's expensive. And I was told from someone I work with that even if you do get that, immigration can still say no when you present to the airport to enter the country. So that wasn't like, I mean, you know, I've been to the US so many times. I don't really need to go back anytime soon. And I don't really want to go through that process. If I'd never been to the US, it might be something I would pursue, but I've seen enough of the United States and it is what it is.
Yeah, no, fair enough. A lot of people don't realize it's the same with Canada. And just imagine that this is a visa. Well, this is your visa. This visa only allows you permission to journey to the country, be it US or Canada, to knock on the door, and basically you're asking the officer, may I please be admitted? This is my visa. So once the officer says, okay, he looks at your visa, he or she decides whether you are allowed to enter. That's US or Canada. So if the Canadian officer says, you have a visa, but I'm not satisfied, you are a bona fide visitor, blah, 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 so I'm denying your entry. So people don't realize this visa is not a guarantee entry. And people say, well, Ken, what's a guarantee entry? I say, if you're a citizen of the country, that's one thing. That's pretty much guaranteed. If you're not a citizen or lawful permanent resident, I mean, it's really crazy. So citizenship definitely is guaranteed. Is that true, Bev? Pretty much?
Yeah. Anyways, this whole thing is really bothering me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can elaborate on your situation.
Well, so I joined Trusted House Sitters last year. This was after I lost my dog of 18 years. So I thought, what a terrific way. I found this and I thought, fantastic. So I kind of lucked out. I saw a lady in her 60s, and I found she's a retired nurse from Virgin Islands. So she had a little dog, and it was February. And so I thought, well, I'm a newbie to this. I may not get this, but right away I said I'm the best for the sit because of, what my dog went through and her palliative care. So she said right away, you're it. So I was so happy and I went down there and it was like 2 weeks and I already know some people in the Clearwater Dunedin area, and she's in Dunedin. And she's right on, the bike path. So there was a bike there and everything. So I just had a great time. And the dog had a similar routine to what my dog had. So it worked out wonderfully. And so then, of course, she gave me a 5-star rating and she wanted me back all the time, you see? And I showed the letter. I showed this letter twice going through Toronto, and there was never a problem. In fact, the border officer, this sit, I returned back to this lady's sit again this year, November, and it was another 2 weeks. And I showed the letter in November, I showed it through Toronto. Not a problem. In fact, the officer stated, geez, I should show this to my sister-in-law. She'd probably like to do something like this. See?
Oh my goodness.
So I figured this letter was cleared somehow with the company. And I guess I should have researched more. I wish I would have seen Madeleine's news clip, because I don't really watch regular news anymore after what's happened through COVID. So I had no clue. And I'm usually, a researcher. I'm a business analyst, and, I was testing for many, many years. But I guess my heartstrings got stuck in this. And I didn't really look closely at this letter. And since it passed me through twice, well, this time I took a brand new sit in Tarpon Springs, and I called this man before I left the other homeowner's place that time in November. So he said, yeah, come down December. I'm going to give you my Mercedes convertible. And it was a cockapoo, because that's what my dog was. So that's what really tore at my heartstrings for Christmas time, you see. So this time I found a direct flight through my airport of Ottawa International Airport. This was a very early flight in the morning, so I barely had sleep. And they were delaying TSA for some strange reason, not announcing why. I get to the guard right at my plane was boarding at 6:05 a.m. So I had the letter in my hand, but part of my gut kind of said, well, just get through, get the plane. But I revealed the letter again. So she said, oh, see, tell me more. So I said, well, this is pretty cool. I'm retired from Canada Border. And I said, I've done this before, and it's an exchange of taking care of a house and a pet without monetary value. So she said, I'll be right back. So that was it. She comes back, come with me. She never even told me she'd bring in secondary, right? And foolish me, I thought as I'm sitting there, I was going to get another flight later on. No, they had no intent to let me go, but didn't explain clearly to me until finally she came to me, the secondary officer, and said, will you be willing to take an oath to tell the truth? So of course I got caught up in that. Of course I'm going to tell the truth, right?
Yep.
So this would really screw me around. And like I was saying to you, Ken, by talking to you, and it got very confusing and digging deeper into this, that even though I'm not banned, it's not easy for me to get back in again. This is a nightmare for me.
Yeah, if they put you, I have not seen your sworn statement, but if they put you under that category, I think it was 212(7)(a), so it's immigrant.
I-1, yeah.
Yeah. So immigrant without a visa. So the way working without a visa set up, basically in simple terms, the way they look at it is any U.S. citizen could have had that job of watching the house, feeding the cat, and you say, well, officer, I did not receive a penny. He says, did you receive any compensation? Nothing, but free lodging, because you get to sleep in the house for free. He's like, aha. He said a U.S. citizen could have watched that house for free and slept in there and fed the cat. So you've taken employment away from a U.S. citizen, even though it's just a free room, so to speak. The way they look at it is a guy in Atlanta could have had that room and fed the cat. That's the simple way of explaining it.
But, even when I tell other people, like today, I was telling people in my gym today, and they all shaking their heads saying, no, that's not work. See, it's confusing. And I wrote back to the homeowner today out in Tarpon and said to him again, I apologize what happened. This is what happened to me. He still didn't get, how severe this is for me. He just said, well, I don't know much about immigration, but it should be fine. And this is not work. So they all think the same thing,
Now, when you cross at that land border, if the officer pulls it up in the system, looks at it, and does another sworn statement, that's when they could give you that 5-year ban. I was discussing with you on the phone, saying you worked without authorization.
Yeah,
because we had that happen to someone here. They were doing like magic acts without compensation, but the person admitted that they were getting tips from the audience, like they would pass the hat around and get a quarter here, $1 there. He's like, aha, see, you worked. And also because the club itself charged an admission. So, that's that compensation. And same with yours, is because either you were watching the house, you weren't getting paid, but because you got the free lodging, you were feeding the cats or whatever. The way they look at it is the same guy from Atlanta could have fed the cats. That's the benefit you got, was the free lodging.
Yeah, but this company is not being apparent, like they're not being transparent. because on their website, it says, very rare instances that our house sitters will be stopped at the international borders. And in fact, they push that letter. There's a timer on their server, and they push that letter a day prior to the sit. You see?
Actually, what's the name of that company? So I'm going to put it in the link in the description.
Trusted House Sitters.
What's it called?
Trusted House Sitters.
Oh, Trusted House Sitters.
Yeah.
I'm going to look them up and put the link in the description along with the website. And they need to really be aware of what's going on. But I strongly suspect that the way they look at it is they probably have a blurb in their website that says something to the effect that you are responsible yourself to ensure that you are conforming with all applicable immigration laws or laws of the nation.
Go ahead, Madeline. Yeah.
So prior to what happened to me, they didn't have anything like that on their website. And in the months after what happened to me, they put those letters together. And then I guess that web page happened as well. But prior to that, all their advertising and everything on the website is like, free holiday with pets. Nothing about any kind of visa. Yeah, so it was like, I guess the onus is on the member to look it up. But when you see the advertising, you assume, rightfully or wrongfully so, that the company has kind of done these checks. But I guess as we have both learned, they haven't, or they have, but they're continuing to mislead their members.
You never, ever assume when you deal with immigration.
Definitely. I know now.
But for you, did you do the redress program?
So I did, and I got some kind of letter back saying like, yeah, you're not banned. You just have to get a work visa or a different kind of visa or anything that's not ESTA.
Yeah, so you lost the ability to obtain the visa waiver. You know what the visa waiver is, so you're no longer eligible for that. So you have to get the B1, B2 visitor visa if you want to visit USA. And you've seen the application, I assume.
I didn't bother looking at it. Again, if I'd never been to the US and I really wanted to go, I would have looked at the application. But because I had spent so much time in the country, house sitting and pet sitting, I haven't bothered.
I can tell you now, it's 20 to 25 pages, and they ask you a series of questions. They want to know all your phone numbers, your old email addresses, your passwords to your social media. It's extremely intrusive. And we tell people here, so you know what? Wait till you become Canadian. I said, this isn't worth it. They ask way too many things. But I mean, you're not a permanent resident here, so in your case, you're going to have to go through that program, get the B1, B2 visitor visa. So check it out, and you'll see what I mean. It's extremely intrusive, the questions they ask. And then once you fill out the application online, upload your digital photo, go through the hoops, blah, 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 then you're at the mercy of that visa officer. So if I'm the officer and you come into I come out there and say, hello, ma'am, how are you? I say, okay, blah, okay, what did you do? What did you do wrong? And you say, well, I did nothing wrong. What do you mean nothing wrong? I said, okay, you did nothing wrong? Okay. Okay, all right, you get your decision in the mail. Or you get what's your decision? That's how these embassies are. So you're at the mercy of that officer. If that officer is having a bad day, you're going to get the brunt of it.
Yep.
So that's essentially it. So what do you think, Bev?
So I think maybe just to confirm again, you were saying, Ken, that when I did that oath or these statements are voluntary. Like I could have said, no, I wish not to take this.
It should say the first or second sentence should say something to the effect that all statements made must be given freely and voluntarily. Do you freely voluntarily agree to answer my questions? Some kind of verbiage similar to that. And if you decide to say no, the questioning stops.
And that's what I was thinking. See, I thought there'd be a repercussion of it. Say, no, I'm not going to take this oath because they didn't explain that, right?
Yeah, but then they won't let you in the country. Then you come back here, then we would have probably cleared it a different type of way.
Yeah, exactly. So now they caught me. They actually, he screwed me up, basically.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what's really frustrating, because I'm right next door here. I'm not far from the border. I used to cross to Augsburg, even just for a pizza. So now I can't even do that. But my biggest thing was I was trying to plan my retirement. I retired from the feds like 3 years ago. And all I've been doing was trying to set some things up in Florida, like my parents. I mean, this is awful.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So it's like I was saying before with you on the phone. So if we did your waiver, we'd probably do it at the time period I told you about. And that way it
Mm.
kind of, I know it kind of covers the rehabilitation, the waiting period, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you can do a waiver like right now, but when it goes to the headquarters, to the ARO, when they look at that, they're gonna look at the date the offense happened. They're gonna look at whatever's in that statement. I don't know what's in the statement, whatever's in that statement, and they're gonna decide if the person is deserving of it and if they're rehabilitated. And if they say no, they're gonna send you a denial letter, and it's gonna give you the reasons why. And I'm almost thinking one of the reasons is going to be not enough time has passed for rehabilitation.
But do you think, let's say by next year to file this, or at least to the end of this year or something? You know, like you think they kind of look at this. Here's a 61-year-old woman retired from the feds, defined pension. Why would I need to go over there to work, really? You know, on a defined pension, and that, you know, I was innocent on this. I had no idea, no clue, you know, about this. Like I don't know, I don't understand. And Madeline, you mentioned two other Canadian ladies. One I think was banned, one is getting her Nexus back. I don't know how the hell she's getting her Nexus back, because that's trusted travelers.
She's
Hmm?
very, very lucky. Like, they
Yes.
initially told her no, and then she went through a different avenue, and they're like, oh, we will review it. And it's like, it's essentially been approved, but they just need to process everything now. And that can take up to 12 months.
That's
I'm
what I almost
assuming
like to
I'm
talk to
assuming
her.
she had no sworn statement done though, right?
So she was crossing at a land border as well, and she showed the same letter that Bev showed. I don't know about all the statements and documents. I just know she was refused entry.
It'd be nice if you could chat with her and find out if they did an actual sworn statement on her as well.
Yeah. So I actually met up with her in person a couple months ago when I was in Canada, because I got a working holiday visa for Canada. So while I was in Canada, I caught up with her, and I still talk to her quite often. So that's something I can definitely ask.
So she had the same letter as Bev then, eh?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because that would be really good to know, because it would be like a
Yes.
comparable to say, here's another Canadian citizen. She came through land, but she also had to do a statement, because for me, the difference was just error, you know, but I had to do the statement. Well, I didn't have to, but I didn't know. I did the statement. But I know what Trusted Travelers is. I used to test that program. I wish I would have signed up for it anyways in the first place. But yeah, so because I mean, like I said, Ken, I can't wait 3 years. I mean, I don't have time. I mean, you know, right now I'm healthy, I'm young, I'm fit. You know, I move and I'm a shaker, but I can't wait another 3 to 5 years. No way.
No, I
That'd be too
understand that.
hard.
So let's just see what happened with her and
Uh,
see basically if she did a statement and see exactly how she must have. But she was also a Nexus holder as well, you say.
Correct.
but usually once you breach that trust on Nexus, you usually, you know, you wouldn't get that back. So
Exactly.
mm,
So unless she found a supervisor in a really, really good mood that day, we need more info on what happened to her. We definitely.
She actually, she is a reporter with like the Canadian Post or something.
Okay.
And when what happened to her happened, she went to like her editor, who said it was a really good story to run, and assigned it to someone, but that reporter got sick. And it kind of just fell by the wayside. But I contacted her again after Bev emailed me, and I believe she was pitching the story again now that she has another Canadian as kind of evidence of it happening too. So the story is being pitched again to the editor. I just don't know where it's at.
Okay. Actually, I wouldn't mind meeting her one day. 'Cause I'm here in Surrey, British Columbia, so I assume she.
Yes, close. Yeah, she's just outside of Vancouver.
Well, that could be Burnaby, that could be Coquitlam, could be North Vancouver. It's so many.
I'm not sure, but I know it's somewhere near Vancouver, and like it would take her less than an hour to drive into the city. So
Could be
quite
White
close.
Rock. Yeah, it could be White Rock, perhaps. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, feel free to pass on my contact info to her if you like. I'd love to actually have her come here to the actual office and tell her story. That'd be great.
I'm sure she would love to chat, because prior to her Nexus card, like essentially being reinstated, she was equally as annoyed and frustrated as both of us. And you know, that's still on her immigration record, but at least she's getting her Nexus card back. So that's kind of some kind of silver lining, I guess.
That definitely helps, but let's wait and see if she actually gets the card, like card in hand, actually has it in hand, then that's definitely a bonus.
Yes, yes.
Well, it'd be really nice if we came back here again, you two there, and she's like sitting next to me, like right here. That'd be awesome.
Because
We try to on our channel, we try to get the message out to help people stay out of trouble. They do tend to be harder on like the smaller stuff, like these immigration violations, that kind of stuff. So you guys saw me, well, heard me on the radio, we were discussing this. So like over here in Surrey, this area, we have more like violent type crime, more drug trafficking. And actually, believe it or not, those guys are less work to clear than this stuff.
and
We
that's
had a guy
what's
came in today. He has I can't really say the conviction because these guys all know each other and they make the news. I'll just say he had a violent crime with a gun.
and this is where there's no logic and it's not fair. Like, but you said, like, they kind of pick out, like you said, the low hanging fruit, and then they get some
Yes.
kind of quota or bonuses on quota, you know, because I know how that works in the government, right?
Yes.
Bonuses. But like this, I never thought. But I thought, Madeline, there was another nurse. I remember on Reddit, I saw something about a 67-year-old nurse that's banned or something. And she just started doing this, I thought. No?
Yeah, so I don't know the full story there, but you're right. It was a 67-year-old retiree from either Canada or the US trying to cross into Canada or the US. And she was also denied. She was fingerprinted, photographed, and obviously not let in.
Yeah, I kind of traced it a little bit. I'm pretty good at digging once I start digging. So it's Brigitte in Montreal was the lady that posted on behalf of her friend that got banned. And then on Facebook, I found them. So Joanne, I think, or something, but it's just, yeah, just a way. I'll have to try to contact her.
Okay, nice.
I used to be a tester, remember?
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, stupid me. And that's why I feel naive that I'm coming through in December with this stupid letter. No.
Well, you never lose those skills. So like I haven't lost my skills. So was she Canadian or US?
Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why did they deny her entry?
Well, I guess she showed the letter or something from what I understand, but I have to try to contact her because it was, you know, her sister or something, her friend that was posting this saying that she felt really sad about this is what happened to her. And I think it looked like both of them at one point were sitting together or something, like dog sitting or whatever together. So I'd have to contact through Facebook and then see if she'd be willing to, you know, reach out to me and let her friend or sister talk to me, sort of thing. So yeah.
That'd be great. It'd be really great to have that reporter here, the one you just mentioned.
Yeah, I'll message her on Facebook after this because we chat like every couple days.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
Yeah, we're in regular contact, and like I guess, you know, we did meet up. We spent a few hours together. Yeah, and it was good to like actually meet someone in person that has experienced something similar.
Because the bottom line is we gotta hold someone accountable for this stuff. Now, obviously, I mean, you don't know the U.S. immigration law. And Bev won't really know the U.S. immigration law per se, but at least that company needs to have some blurb on the website where it says, look, you are a disclaimer where basically stating, look, you are responsible for doing your own due diligence and finding out whether you need a work visa or not. They just can't push this service, not remind people. And now, if you remind a person and they don't do their due diligence, then sucks to be that person. But if it's right there,
definitely.
But
you know what? Maybe I need to look into this.
But it's like what they should be doing now is saying, you know, you need a visa. But even that, like actually Madeleine's lawyer, so Christy even said to me, highly unlikely you're going to get a work visa as a foreign national.
No, keep going, sorry.
Oh, so highly unlikely you'd get this as a foreign national because then again, it would go really to the person in that country, not to the foreign national.
Okay.
So yeah. But they need to remove those letters, not push those letters. That's what fooled me really at that point.
The letters though in themselves are terrible. Like they don't have anyone's name on it. The phone number is some like hotline that good luck getting through kind of thing. The letters are just embarrassing, I think.
Yeah.
And a reflection of kind of how little they invested in producing these letters.
We
Yeah,
have an office in London, and I was there in England for about 3 years at the London office. I'm almost wondering if I should talk to my staff there, have one of my guys go by there and actually knock on the door of this company in London and find out if it's an actual company there or if it's just a box.
So I've done a bit of background research into this, and the kind of the British equivalent of like Consumer Affairs is actually investigating this company now. And they found out that they have like an office space in some county or borough, but it's not occupied half the time. So there is a
Yes,
physical location, but good luck getting anyone.
Yes,
Okay.
in the United Kingdom, they are really strict on these kinds of things. England's very strict with this stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if this company gets shut down in England.
Well, I'll make a complaint too, but I'm kind of waiting to see what happens. They're claiming they're going to give back my flights and my hotel out of goodwill in 10 to 14 days direct to my bank account, supposedly. So then I want to make a lot of noise if I get this money. Right after I get the money, then I'll keep going. I'll be making more noise, you know.
They actually refunded Camille, the other Canadian. They gave her money back, and they also said to her, we'll give you membership free for a year. And it's like, that's nice, but that doesn't solve the underlying issue.
You make a square one again anyway, at least for US anyway.
No, you have to stay away from that stuff now. Basically, you just get, just flags you for hot water, really, at that point. But see, I did go to them, Ken. I said, "What's your lawyer firm?" So according to your letter, it says you highly consulted with your U.S. immigration lawyers. I said, "Please identify your lawyer firm, and perhaps they can also help me as well." So their answer was back. It said to me, "No, this is a private law firm. We cannot disclose that information."
Of course.
Yeah.
So England has very, very strict rules. Like, for example, you've been to England, haven't you, Bev?
No, never been.
Madeline, you've been to England, right? No?
No.
Like, for example, even in the United Kingdom, when I was moving out there, in order to clean the stove, the person has to have an actual license. Like, you cannot just bring someone in off the streets to clean your stove. They have to be a licensed stove cleaner. And you have the license to have a telly. And your car just sitting on the street, you have to have a tag, but it's a special tax. You have to pay for that as well. So England's very strict on these kinds of things. So they don't these things they don't play. So if it can be proven that they were fraudulent, they will get in massive trouble in the United Kingdom. That I know for a fact.
Well, it'd be nice to do a class action lawsuit on these buggers, but I guess it might be hard being out in the UK and then people from all across different countries that got stuck in this nonsense, right?
It would be. Same way in England, they have what they call council tax, where once a month you got to pay tax to the government. And it's not like work tax. Even if you're not working, you pay your council tax. Mine was £150 a month. I had to pay to the local council for the rubbish collection, blah, blah, blah.
We have that in Australia as well, but I think it might be an annual fee.
Nope. Try $150 a month for myself. And that was considered on the lower end.
Oh, gee. Wow.
Mind you, when I left England, I still owe 1 month's council tax I haven't paid.
Well, we got this crappy carbon tax, which is a scam.
Yes.
Total scam. Anyways. So, I mean, do you think, I should just wait till the fall though and try this, because this is going to bother me. Like I said, I don't have time. I don't have time anymore. Not to wait 3 to 4 or 5 years to enjoy my retirement. I don't.
You could also try the same thing, the DHS redress that she tried, and see what happens.
Oh, and that's through their portal, basically, that you put in for that. Oh,
see what they say. But like I said, I would love to see your sworn statement. I'd also love to see the back end notes that they have. I was told you about that they have not given you. So definitely the due diligence has to be done. That's a given. Even in Madeline's case, the due diligence has to be done. We have to see what they know.
So, okay, so I could ask that for an information privacy request or something like that, I believe, right? Like
definitely.
Yeah, which might take a while to get that anyways, that info. But in the meantime, did you still want to see my statement? Because I did send this to a lawyer in California, Bernard Waldorf or something associates.
Never
So
heard
he
of
kind of
it.
said the same thing. Well, it was kind of recommended, Madeline, through Christy, because Christy kept
Mhm.
swearing, you don't need a waiver, Bev. And then she said, but if you want a second opinion, I'll give you 2 lawyers in the States that I highly recommend or that I know. So she gave me 2 names. So I went to one of them in California, and then I emailed my statement. And so right away within the next day, he said, yeah, you're probably going to need a visa waiver. And like you said, 3 years time. And yeah, so kind of saying the same as you, but the other lawyers are saying different. Oh, no, you won't need a waiver, or you can do this right now, or all that sort of thing. So it gets confusing.
Also, some of these guys, in all honesty, they just want fast money. They don't really care about what happens to the client.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
what
really depends on who you
yeah.
get and what they're saying. We use the
And
regulations. In fact, the guy that came in today, the guy that came in, who was this?
mm,
Like right here, for example, I showed him the actual criteria that they use to approve a waiver. And a lot of these lawyers don't have this info.
and this is the CBP manual, or
Well, we got that one too.
oh,
It's more than one. So this is the actual criteria. They look at recency of the event, seriousness, purpose for entering, if there's any kind of like a pattern of misconduct, whatever, and how your life has changed, and other things too, obviously. So I'm just kind of like
mm,
skimming over it. So, but this is the actual manual right here, or one of the main manuals. And I have another one here that shows the actual waiting period that's used to determine rehabilitation. And a lot of these lawyers, well, none of these lawyers apparently, and these dollar store waiver companies, none of them have this. So we're very
mm.
guarded about how we say it online, because what some of these places do, they try to gain this info, reverse engineer it, and do it cheaply. So, but it says right here, passenger time, and it's where's the one about the yeah, 3 arrest-free years after conviction or release from confinement for minor convictions such as blah blah blah, simple possession of marijuana. You don't have that. 5 years
No.
or more for serious crimes such as armed burglary, robbery, blah blah. Grave crimes such as murder, smuggling, distribution of narcotics. Longer period of time will not only require a longer period of rehabilitation, but also persuasive evidence of reformation of character before either a waiver is approved. So a combination of that and these other manuals here, that's the criteria they use to approve the waiver. I kind of skimmed over it, I went in and
Mm.
out.
But see,
So
this is what I would question. So rehabilitation period. So I could see if people were druggies, you're on drugs, enforcement, this sort of thing. But someone like ourselves about, insufficient documentation. What's the rehab really at this point?
you know what?
You
That's
know?
the $1 million question. And a gentleman came in
Mm,
today that had drug trafficking, because Surrey, BC is full of ex-drug traffickers.
mm,
He came in today, he had a PPT conviction, and I explained it to him. I said, just imagine, I said, your parents are born in India. You were raised in Surrey. So your parents came here from India. They bought a nice home here, tried to give you a good life, and they brought their other relatives over. So as you're growing up, you're watching movies like Scarface, 50 Cent. I don't know if you know what 50 Cent is.
yes, I do. Hmm.
Well, I didn't know. So they're watching those types of movies. And they're sitting back and say, oh, that's cool. So they got their caps to the side like this. So if they're watching the movies, they put that caps onto the side like this and lean to the side, but rolling around like this. And man, thinking they're in the movies.
Mm.
So fast forward, they're making that $200,000 to $500,000 a month cash, which is what they're making here. And then the guy down the street, or the group down the street, is upset because they're making that. So they say, we want your territory. I said, nope, you can't have it. Then bullets fly back and forth at different time intervals. 15 years later, they leave that business. They get married by a legit company, and they left it. It was so easy to show 360 for that. But how do you show 360 for someone who made false statements at the border or who worked illegally?
Well, but I guess again, I question to go, okay, like this person didn't have the right document, but they're coming back now, like, they're showing, okay, I'm going to stay in the villages. I'm renting a home that's $8,000 for a month, right? If I show this paperwork and, saying I'm going to just be staying as a snowbird, and I've got a defined pension. I never committed a crime. In fact, I'm security cleared like heavily, like I was in Canada Border, and I worked for the police. Like I was in the police choir years ago, wearing the uniform, singing. You
So
know?
then you fast forward. If I play devil's advocate, you fast forward to the headquarters. I'm the officer looking at it. I said, this woman is retired CBSA. This woman
Mm.
was on the police choir. This woman had a massive security clearance. She of all people should have known better. And because she knew better, she decided to flout the law. Denied.
Yeah, but then if you're saying, okay, I worked in IT in Canada Border, instead of just saying Canada Border, that's just a general statement, right?
Yeah, that's just the mindset of these Americans is what I'm saying. That's like a
Mm.
my brother, he retired 40 years from the American government. He was on a conference call today for another client that came in, and he said the same exact thing. These officers at the headquarters, they pretty much have their own way of thinking. And kind of
Mm.
like the way I just did it, they say this
Mhm.
person knew better. Now, this
Yeah.
person right here, who may be the truck driver, and he got into the drug trade because of the fact that he was promised fast money, they may not be as hard. They'll still be hard, but they will be less hard on him. It's okay. He's not that educated. He's ex truck driver or truck driver, blah blah blah. He just wanted money to pay for the kids. Okay, after showing all the rehab, we'll give him a waiver. But the more educated you are, the more they feel you should have known better. They're harder on you. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know
Like
what
for
you're kind of
example,
saying there, but it would more or less to advocate, okay, look, this person worked with the feds, but she wasn't, working with legislation. She was a technical, say, make sure that's technical person, so they don't know as much the, background. I mean, we took IRPA. I did take IRPA
yeah, yeah.
once, but I didn't have to know that inside and backwards. I had a general idea. I tested pill. And secondary, right? But I didn't have to know all the, nitty gritty. At one point, general idea, but I guess like I said, got caught up in this trusted house sitters thing, thinking, well, it's an exchange. There's no money, and I wasn't thinking. So when I called my colleague, who's a former border officer, after all this happened, he said, Bev, it's called a barter system. And according to the Taxation Act, it's a value. Well, I know that, right? But so never thought. And especially like, even when I contacted my former homeowner, like the first one I did the sit for, Cindy out in Dunedin, she said through WhatsApp, oh no, it's not work. That like, this is crazy. Why you got stopped? See, same thing. It's not work. So.
And that's why I want to see the notes that they put on you in the system. Really, both of you, the notes that they have, like the back end notes. See exactly because you don't know what they put in those notes. You don't know what's there.
No, but like you said, it could be in some code as well, like on their side, right?
Yep. Could be,
Yeah.
they could put anything in there. And those notes, I've seen all kinds of things. It was just insane, just crazy. The stuff that
Oh, really? Oh, well, I'll send you my statement, but if I file for that information request, again, I know that drags on. That can drag on the government. You may not even get that for a long time.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Just out of interest, the notes you're talking about, how would I go about getting a copy of those? Is that a FOIA thing as well?
It is. It's a certain way you have to ask for it, and a certain word you have to use in order to obtain it. That's one method. They have other databases as well, but that's just one.
So I have like 5 or 6 different documents, one from like CPB, and then there's like another department that had notes that or not notes, but files. I can send you all of that, but I definitely haven't seen like any like notes about what the officers thought.
Okay. Yeah, I like to see what you have. And worst case scenario, we can just reorder that stuff because there's a certain way you have to ask. You have to know how to ask for it and what.
Yeah.
And once you have, you got to know what you're looking at, how to interpret it. And a lot of these lawyers don't know this stuff. They don't know what they're looking at. I mean, to us, it's a no-brainer. So, that didn't mean such. I mean, it's easy for us. Like me and my brother. More so, especially for him, because he just retired from the federal government last year. He gave them 40 years of his life, which I think is insane. I didn't give them 40. I gave them 15 years. He gave them 40 years.
I was 36.
Yes. That's too much time for me.
Well, anyways, it paid off with a divine pension, but other than that,
he has the same exact thing. One of those pensions. He's a really good pension.
Yeah. I mean, I never wanted to my parents were government people, so they pushed me in.
Yeah.
So really was music. That was going to be what I wanted to do. I almost got, like I said, almost got a Cunard Cruise Line a job offer. Well, I did have a job offer after retirement. I refused it so far. So this is a problem too. So if I get offers to sing on cruise ships or do other things and I have to go through the States, that's a big issue
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to be
Mhm.
careful
well.
with that too, as well. We don't want them saying you're working without a visa.
Mm,
They're singing on, on the ship.
hmm
It's so silly. I hear stuff like that, and then I see people like here who say that they tell CBP they're going shopping. They go to their storage shed, pull out their tools, and they build homes in Washington State for cash and come back to Canada and spend the money. They've been doing it 15 years.
Crazy, crazy. Mm,
They understand the system, so they know what to say and what not to say. And I say,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, I could have lied. I could have lied and
Mhm.
should have lied, I
Mhm.
guess. But even that, if you get caught, then you're slammed
Exactly.
even worse, right?
Yeah, if you
But
got caught with
Exactly.
false statement, as you know, it's misrepresentation.
yeah.
And then that's worse than drug trafficking.
Mm.
It's
Crazy.
actually less work to clear someone that has trafficking than misrepresentation.
Mm,
Rep is way more. How do you show rehab for that?
mm,
You know what I mean? It's more rehab you got to show. At least the guy who was selling the pies or selling the guns, that's less work to show rehab. But the
oh,
person who made a false statement or fake marriage, like a lot of people do overseas, they have these fake marriages in USA. How do you show the person that character has turned around? They've turned themselves around. It's harder.
mm, mm.
So that rehab have to be approached differently. So we can still do it, but it's actually more work. And I tell people, say, you're better off if you were an ex-drug dealer. It's less rehab we got
Oh,
to show. It's easier to show
that's
rehab.
crazy. Crazy.
It is. We got a guy, he tried to stab 5 people to death, and his rehab was less than the guy who had fake marriage. He got his waiver.
Oh,
The knife man got his waiver. I mean,
oh,
they only gave
just
him 6 months. He just messaged me, say he needs to redo it. But he said to me, he said, bro, I only got 6 months. I said, well, look what you did. You tried to stab 5 people to death. He said, oh, well, that makes sense.
oh my God. This world is going cuckoo birds. I don't know. It really is. You know, I saw even a couple getting harassed in Toronto, like on a social media clip on a skating rink by the Hamas protesters
Oh,
and
yeah.
yelling at these old people. Like, oh my God.
Well, over here, those Khalistani protesters, or not those Khalistani supporters, they hold rallies here in Surrey.
Mm, I bet.
They
Oh
do
yeah.
know it, in the news here recently that one priest who was involved and got murdered. You may not have heard about that.
No, I don't think so. No,
Oh, well, he was
no.
a Khalistani priest. He got murdered. His temple is right down the street from this office.
Oh, okay.
So normally on like a Friday or Saturday night, they put up the megaphones, the speaker boxes, and
And there's, yeah, no repercussions, but then the trucker convoy came to Ottawa and there was repercussions and they froze their bank accounts.
Mm.
Anyways.
I really I can't say my full opinion on that kind of stuff because all I can say is
Mm,
I support and back the government.
I don't know. It's not a good thing right now, what's going
Yep.
on, but anyways, that's all I can say.
Yep. I say I support the system. I support the system. So,
Mm, mm,
but it is what it is. So
yeah. So if to file this information request, is there a particular web page to go for these guys compared to what I know, like for Canada, but like to get this from USCBP, or do they have that maybe on their portal or something like
I
that?
what I could do is send you to the email links, and you can kind of do it that way yourselves.
Mm,
And that's probably the best way to go because me just saying it here, it's easy if I just email it to you.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And then I already scanned this oath, like to the lawyer, so I could just send you the copy of that
Okay,
same
sure.
scan as well. Yeah.
I really like to see what you two told these officers.
And
The general rule is less is better. The less you told, the less work. The more you told, the worse.
see,
I've
like I
learned
said,
that.
mm,
Less is
and
better.
I didn't know this was voluntary. I figured if I don't do this, I'm going to have more of a problem, or
Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Oh,
That's what I thought as well.
we did a
yeah.
YouTube video, and it said the title of the video says how sworn statements are used against you. People like,
Oh,
oh, really? It's like, well, yeah. If you told the officer that you did with a girl that they called and she said, well, she works for the government here, I'll just say, and she told the U.S. border here, over here in Surrey, how much how many drugs she used over the years, white powder, green stuff, everything. And
mm,
then they said, well, you're denied entry. You know, you need a waiver. And today she was asking me, well, how long do I have to get this waiver? I said, until the day you expire. She said, huh? To the day you expire. She didn't know what that meant. I said, to the day you become deceased. She says, oh,
mm,
so why?
mm.
What about a lifetime? I said, well, you told the officer that you did the white powder. She said, oh, well, he asked me. I wanted to be honest. Yeah, so you're permanently banned. And she wanted to know about this lifetime clearance. I said, you can't get that. That's more for like a lot of like the violent type crimes. We can get that lifetime sometimes.
Mm.
So
Gee.
kind of like, I don't know, if you beat, let's say if you beat you struck a guy with a bat and he has a broken arm, whatever, because of the bat, assault causing bodily harm, that we can do. Death threats, if you had your Glock pistol pointed at a rival, said, pay me or I'm going to blast, that we get cleared for life. Because these we've already had and got them cleared for life. They don't need waivers. Because just a death threat.
Just a death threat. Oh my
Yeah, or a
God.
broken arm. Or if you got
Oh,
caught in Surrey with your, do you know what an M4 is?
no, no.
Well, the U.S. Army, they carry M4 rifles.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, they got
okay.
caught in M4 here. He doesn't need a waiver.
Crazy,
Another
crazy.
guy went down to the border, had his sawed-off shotgun in the trunk. He forgot it was in there. He doesn't need a waiver.
Desperate. So wrong, so wrong. And
Mhm.
then to be treated like a criminal, because like I was in tears that day. I mean, I really felt like I was a criminal. And with the walk of shame, walking out too with the young
Uh-huh.
officer, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's terrible. Yeah.
Trust me, we see a lot worse over here than that. But they go for, like I said, a lot of times they want to go for the low-hanging fruit because they got that, I hate to say quotas, but they got their annual performance appraisal and they get judged on how they do their jobs, blah, blah, blah. They got to keep their numbers up. So it's easy to catch someone who innocently or accidentally worked, let's just say, as opposed to someone who carried a sawed-off shotgun in Surrey, which that's
Mm.
illegal in Canada anyway, but
No, it's just really rotten what they did instead of to say, look, we're going to give you a warning because I see nothing in pill, like nothing's been flagged ever on you. So I'm going to warn you, you know?
Mhm.
But instead messing someone up, like especially even like, well, Madeline being young too, but me, 60-some-year-old retiree, for God's sakes, come on. This is absolutely horrid what this guy did, you know?
well, I told you before,
Yeah.
my very good friend, his dad passed away from COVID. He was 95, and that guy looked like he was in his 60s. That guy was strong as an ox.
Mm,
So had the COVID not gotten him, he would have been around at least to 110. So you got at least another 50 years,
you don't
60
know.
years.
You just don't know what can happen tomorrow. Like I've seen friends or heard of like friends that are older than me, and all of a sudden, boom, like a friend of mine a year ago, all of a sudden he got leukemia. Like he's older than me, but he was kind of healthy, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, leukemia. So yeah, so I have no time to waste.
No, I get
Just
it. I
go.
get it. Time is definitely the essence. The gentleman that came in
Yeah.
today, they had the violent crime with the gun. We told him, said, look, sir, in all honesty, we probably should do your waiver 2031. Well, because the particulars behind his stuff, I mean,
Mm,
he agreed. He understood. I can't really go in detail about his because he's actually
right,
on the web, on the internet, his offense. That's why I'm carefully choosing my words.
right, right. Hmm.
But
Hmm.
for what he did, what he has, yeah, you're gonna need another 7 years. He's fine with this. That's fine, whatever.
Mm. But yeah, in this case, yeah, I just, innocently doing house and pet sitting because of losing a pet,
Mhm.
for God's sakes, and I missed my dog, and I thought this was a, reasonable way for me to do this. And I actually had a sit lined up in February in the villages, you see. So she reached out to me at Christmas and I had to say, I'm sorry, but I'm in this mess. And she said, well, I'll contact trusted house sitters. And then she got back to me and said, they said, until you sort this out. And I was trying to make her realize how serious this is. It's not until I sort this out, it would not get sorted out easily. So of
Mhm.
course, there went that. And this was right where I wanted to buy eventually or research more about in this community. And I, would have their golf cart and with their doggy. And I knew, again, I know my neighbors are there. My Canadian neighbors own a place there. So, because I'm in a golf community here. So,
Well, if they
yeah.
feel that you've broken the law, if that's in the system, and they say you're not coming into this country unless you have a waiver, then and they can back it up in the regulations, then that's one thing. I can't speak for your other friends because I haven't seen any of that stuff. That's the other thing too.
Yeah, but I guess it's a good start, like sending these statements, like both of us, and then like you're saying, those links to request what they have in their database, at least to kind of get some sort of general idea what they put in there. And like I know you said some of them will be in code, perhaps, but
And then another thing is I can't guarantee it. What's possible is based upon what's in the notes, we might be able to get you to come out here and then go down to the borders we deal with and discuss it based upon what's in the notes. And if they feel you don't need a waiver, they could clear you locally on the spot because they've done that for numerous people.
oh yeah,
We get people to fly in from Brampton, Edmonton, Calgary, all over Canada. And we take
really?
them down to the border for that reason. For that, be it their
Oh,
waivers or be it to see if they can be cleared without a waiver. And quite often it happens, but we have to see what's in the background of it first before we
right.
do that.
But they wouldn't wipe that right out of the system though, right? Because normally that still stays in, I mean, unless they really delete that in the back end,
It's not so much wiped out. It's still there, but based upon well, in law enforcement, you've heard of totality of circumstances.
I've never heard of that, no.
Oh, maybe it's a US thing, but totality of circumstances, just like imagine a pie with 6 slices. So you basically you examine each slice of the pie, and by the time you get to number 6, you have a conclusion as to exactly what happened. It's kind of like how they do like criminal investigations, blah blah blah. That's what we used to
Oh,
also do.
okay.
Like the pie, put the pie 8 slices. Okay, we know this about the person. We know this. We know this. This is documented.
Mm.
A slice 5 we're unsure about. Slice 6 is unknown. So we do the same thing when we do our waivers. We cover all 6 slices, and that's why they're pretty much always a slam dunk. But before we get to that, we
Okay.
want to see the due diligence, see exactly what's there.
Okay.
It's just like when I grew up putting jigsaw puzzles together. It's just like putting pieces to a puzzle together. Once you get all the pieces together, then you see the big picture.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so same thing.
Okay. Well, that might be an idea. Like I'm going to Portugal now. Well, fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong. Just on a trip. I'm so nervous even going back into an airport actually. But I'm leaving through Toronto Friday, so it's a month trip anyways, with a tour group.
Oh
So
yeah, we
maybe I get,
discussed that before. Yeah, we'll both be in the EU together, but I'm going to be in Northern and Eastern Europe.
oh, okay. So I guess by the time I get back and then, I'll send the scan first and then, file for that request. And then if this is a possibility, then I'd be willing to try to fly down at least to talk to the horse's mouth or something and try to help on this because this is eating at me actually every day. This is eating at me.
What we've done before, we've had some couples come from Calgary. They had overstays, and then the long story short, they went down to the border with the material we prepared to show why they have strong ties to Canada, why the overstay period is over, because the regulations state that if it's one year or more, it's a 10-year ban. So they were over that 10-year ban. So they went down to the border with their ties to Canada, showing they're not going to overstay. They looked at the material, they looked at the computer, blah, blah, blah. And 3 out of 4 got cleared locally. They don't need waivers. The fourth one needs a waiver because she made a false statement. So
Okay.
she needs it. So it'd be similar in the sense that once all the notes come in, we can put that together and go down to the borders here we deal with. And they're very nice and friendly. They'll tell you straight up. So you know what? They were wrong when they made this determination, you're good to go. Or they say, no, you are inadmissible, blah, 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 ma'am. So okay, I'm sorry. And then come back here, and then that's probably the safest way. But for Madeline, it's a little tricky for Madeline because she's not Canadian, so she has to have a visa to go down to that border, whereas you don't.
Yeah. And then I guess you need an ESTA. Is that what they were talking about?
Get an ESTA, yeah.
ESTA.
Yeah, we're ETAs here. Yeah. Like ETAs for foreign nationals coming. Yeah.
Madeline,
So,
are you going to get Canadian PR anytime soon?
No, but I've actually just been approved for Croatian citizenship.
Really?
Yeah, so my grandma is from there,
You
and
look Croatian. You actually do look Croatian. Oh, Caucasus.
I don't know any Croatian or
Oh,
anything,
okay.
aside from the fact my grandma lived there for about 20 years. But on Friday, I got a call saying my application has been approved.
Yes.
So I'm essentially a citizen, and I'm going to start the paperwork
Wow.
for the EU passport.
You have no idea what doors have just opened up for you.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that. There's nothing here to drink, but
Thank you.
congrats for that.
Uh,
That's a really
yeah.
good thing.
Hmm.
She doesn't even need USA. She's got the entire European Union.
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, I
much.
know. Yeah. Because that's what I was wondering. At one point, I've been getting an Irish passport because then all my background's Ireland, right? But no, because of
You should. Like, I mean, it sucks they're not in the EU anymore, but at least you could go to like England, Scotland, all the other
Ireland's still in.
countries.
Ireland's still in.
Pardon?
Ireland's still in.
I think North Ireland.
Northern Ireland's not, but Ireland is. But I think she said Ireland.
yeah, but it's just because now it was my great grandparents, so that doesn't constitute for me to apply. And then my grandfather, they brought him to the UK in Liverpool. And then, they were orphans and then they shipped them to Canada. So yeah, I'm not eligible, unfortunately.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
I have EU status myself just through business. So for me, that's another reason why I'm going back there in a few weeks to see how the location's going over there.
Mhm.
Well, I love the European Union. Wow. I'm spoiled by it. No, but no, definitely congrats to you though for that.
Thank you. It was a lot of work, and I guess it was a lot of money to get everything, all the paperwork and stuff done, but it's approved, and that's great.
Well, you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep. So wow. So should we wrap this up? You girls think we should wrap this up? Yeah, it's about 5 p.m. my time, so it's about 8 p.m. Bev's time. I have no clue what it is in Australia right now.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, I gotta work for another 5 hours anyway, so we have so much. We actually have too much business, so. But it's my pleasure, and if you would again speak to your friend, the reporter here, and she wants to come down here. I'm happy.
Yeah, that would be great because I wouldn't mind talking to her too.
Yeah, of course. Like she does definitely know about you, Bev, and I guess she probably is happy to talk about her situation. But I guess I just before I give you her email, I just want to check that it's okay with her.
Of course. Yeah, that's what I always do too. Clear with the person, sort of thing. So no, that's great.
And you can also get my number and email from Bev. So same thing, if she's fine with that. So, bottom line, though, if we can get this message out and protect other people so they won't fall prey to this, then that would be great. And Bev, if you can give me the address of that company, I might just send one of my guys over there in London to actually knock on that door.
Because was that on their website, Madeline? It should be, right? Their address?
So I think the address on the website, if it's still on there, doesn't actually match what the UK trading standards was able to find.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they have an address in London on the website, but they're actually out in Brighton, which I think is a little bit outside.
That's by Wales.
I think
it's by Wales.
So maybe, Madeline, you're better to provide, I guess, that information.
Yeah, of course. I can send through everything that I have in terms of their location or what is believed to be their location.
Okay. So I'll send my statement too there.
Perfect.
And I can still be contacted, of course, in the EU. I'll have Erello on or whatever, eSIM on and WhatsApp sort of thing. So
definitely WhatsApp. In fact, I'm going to give you my email address now, Bev. I don't think you have it.
No,
I'm going to text it to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. You can pass it on to Madeline. So.
Yeah, will do.
Yep.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Madeline, if you ever come to Canada, but now sounds you got a better deal. But anyways, if you ever do,
I'm actually coming back in at the end of February. I'll be back for a couple months.
But you're going to Vancouver though, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So Vancouver, Montreal, and I'm still
Oh.
kind of I'm still planning the rest of the trip. Yeah, so I'm looking to go for like 3 or 4 months again. So we might cross paths.
oh, most
Yeah, let me
definitely.
know because I'm 2 hours from Montreal, but I was still debating when I get back in February. I don't know if I should go to Costa Rica now. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, if you like hot weather, maybe Costa Rica.
yes.
I like cold weather myself, but that's just me.
Ooh, I love the heat.
Oh, I can't stand heat.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
I don't need a suntan, so
Uh,
no suntan for me.
but you're quite welcome anyways. I mean, the summer it's nicer here. I'm on a golf course, so you
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, right now in Estonia, it's nice and overcast. It's about, I think, 10, 20 below. I love it.
Oh, geez. And we're getting a storm here. We're getting lots of snow tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we got some outside now.
But there's supposed to be a big storm now coming for Tuesday right up to Wednesday morning or something like that. Maybe another 10 centimeters. I don't know. So that's why
Oh,
I went out of
wow.
here.
And
Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't like the winter.
I'm going to do the same thing because, Bev, as you know, a lot of people in this country can't drive even when the pavement is dry.
I know, exactly. You're right.
Yeah. They can't, the pavement is dry, bright
Mm.
sunshine, they still can't drive.
Yeah, I totally agree. They're getting worse actually. And I used to ride a
Yes.
motorbike, so I do watch
Oh,
everything. Yeah, I used to ride a Harley. Yeah,
oh,
Okay.
wow.
yeah. So I'm pretty
Okay.
spunky.
You don't wear the chaps with the colors on, no.
Well, no, I mean, I'd wear the full gear. And even
Okay.
for Harley, I wore the full face because, I learned through the safety council and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now I was kidding about the chaps and the colors, and I don't know if you
Yeah,
didn't catch
I know. There's clubs.
it.
I get it.
Okay, no, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. So
that's okay.
we got a lot of them over here, but yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
So, all right, ladies, it was nice chatting with you. And Madeline, if you're here in March, first week of March, I'm back in Eastern Europe for March. So I'm gonna be all over Finland and Estonia in Eastern Europe for the month of February.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I have lots of friends there, so I'm used to that culture anyway. I've lived there so long, so I'm going back home
Nice.
for a little bit, so to speak.
Yeah, I've been to Helsinki. It was a wedding. I was there years ago for my friend's son's wedding.
Oh,
That was
nice,
interesting.
nice. I got friends waiting for the plane to land.
Nice.
So they're gonna have Vanatalen and everything. So sweet. But
School.
it's cool. Yep. So, all right, ladies, I won't hold you ladies too long,
Yep.
but thanks for being on the show. We'll upload it probably later today, and then you can show your friend, pass it around. Let's get this message out so these people won't get screwed by this company.
I'm happy to share it on Reddit.
Sure.
Like Reddit is kind of where people can voice their opinions without it being moderated by the company. The company shuts down any kind of immigration topics. So I think Reddit would be a good place to share it.
Good. Well, we'll have it on
Yeah.
our channel, and we do this anyway. Like people who've been like scammed by these lawyers and waiver companies, we go after them, and even to the point of where we've actually called the companies up to say, why did you charge this person this? Most of the time, they won't speak to me.
Yep,
Most of the
I
time, they
believe
won't
it.
speak to me. Only one time, one guy did, and he's saying, well, the guy knew what he was doing. I said, no, he didn't know what he was doing. Where's his contract? Then the guy hung up on us. So I'm definitely not going to get a Christmas gift from any of them. So, all right, ladies, I'll let you ladies go because I can talk all night. So,
Okay.
All right, bye guys.
all right.
Thanks very much. Thank
my
you. Nice to
pleasure.
meet you all. Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Alrighty. Why you should be denied entry to that country. So, if you're denied entry to the United States for criminality, maybe I had a bar fight, or maybe you were accused of, I don't know. It's okay. You didn't do it. This is what you want to do. You may need a U.S. entry waiver. You may, or you may not. If you do, you want to use sendittoken.com. Sendittoken.com. And once you use sendittoken.com, we can get you cleared to enter the United States. Does not matter what your conviction is, whether it's for or
Nothing is
Doesn't matter.
impossible.
Why? Because we're there. You need us.
Send it to Ken.com.
I gotta tell you, folks, wait till Hulk Hogan comes out here. The roof is gonna come off the Bell Center here in Montreal. As the anticipation builds, you can feel it. The legendary Hulk Hogan is a heartbeat away